Do eggs clog your arteries? Is saturated fat the enemy? Is a heart attack just a sharp pain in your chest? With so much conflicting health information online, what's a fact and what's a myth that could end up costing you your health? This confusion is real, and it can lead to making the wrong choices, causing us to accidentally harm our hearts instead of protecting them. Misunderstanding the symptoms is even more dangerous, especially the confusion between a panic attack and a heart attack, or not realizing that heart attack symptoms in women are often very different. Today's video isn't going to offer you a miracle diet. Instead, we're going to be investigators together using the most up-to-date scientific evidence to debunk the 5 most common and dangerous myths about diet and heart disease. Arming yourself with accurate knowledge is the first and most important step to proactively knowing how to prevent a heart attack. Have you ever believed any of these myths? Please share honestly with us in the comments. And the first myth, which is perhaps one of the most persistent, is this: eating eggs will raise your cholesterol and cause heart disease. This myth started back in the 1950s and 60s when scientists first discovered a link between high cholesterol in the blood and heart disease. From there, a seemingly logical conclusion was made: if a food contains cholesterol, then eating it must raise our blood cholesterol, and this was believed to be one of the causes of heart attacks. And so eggs with their cholesterol-rich yolks quickly became the villain. But modern science has given us a completely different perspective. Our bodies are much more complex. Most of the cholesterol in your blood is actually produced by your own liver. When you eat more cholesterol from food, your liver tends to produce less, and vice versa. For most people, the cholesterol from a single egg has almost no significant impact on their blood cholesterol levels. We also can't ignore the nutritional value of eggs. They are a source of complete protein-containing choline, which is excellent for brain and liver function, and have many important vitamins like D and B12. So where does the real problem lie? Usually, it's not the egg itself, but what we eat with it: salty slices of bacon, white bread, or processed sausages. It is because of this new evidence that in recent years, reputable health organizations like the American Heart Association have removed their recommendation to limit dietary cholesterol. So what's the advice? For a healthy person, eating 1 egg a day is completely safe and nutritious. If you have diabetes or high cardiovascular risk factors, you should consult your doctor about the right amount for you. But you certainly don't need to completely give up this wonderful food. Following the myth about eggs, we come to its cousin, an even more controversial topic: saturated fat. For decades, we were taught that saturated fat found in fatty meats, butter, and cheese was public enemy number 1. The argument was simple: eating saturated fat raises bad LDL cholesterol, which then causes hardened arteries and leads to heart attacks. However, the scientific picture today is more complex. First, scientists discovered that not all bad LDL cholesterol particles are the same. There are large, fluffy particles that are less harmful, and there are small, dense particles. These small, dense ones are the truly dangerous type because they can easily get into the artery walls and cause plaque. And what's interesting? Many new studies suggest that a diet high in sugar and refined carbohydrates like white bread and soda is the main culprit for increasing the number of these dangerous small LDL particles. This kind of diet also causes inflammation throughout the body, which is a root cause of heart disease. The source of the saturated fat also matters. The fat in a piece of naturally fermented cheese can have a very different effect on the body than the fat in a factory-made pastry filled with sugar and other additives. To be clear, this is still a hotly debated topic in the scientific community. Major health organizations around the world still generally recommend limiting saturated fat. However, the overall trend is slowly shifting away from blaming a single nutrient and instead focusing on the overall quality of your entire diet. So what's the practical advice for you? Instead of being overly afraid of a spoonful of butter or a piece of meat, it's probably more important to focus on eliminating the well-known enemies, refined vegetable oils, sugar, and processed carbohydrates. Prioritize healthy fats that are proven to be good for the heart, like olive oil, avocados, nuts, and fatty fish. Moving on from myths about food, let's talk about an even more dangerous myth, one that's related to the actual symptoms of a heart attack. Myth number 3 is, a heart attack always starts with a sudden, intense pain in the chest. We've all seen this in the movies. An older man suddenly clutches his left chest, winces in pain, and collapses. This image, while very dramatic, is the cause of a deadly misunderstanding because it doesn't reflect the whole truth about the symptoms of a heart attack. It's true that discomfort pressure squeezing, or pain in the center of the chest, is the most common symptom. This pain can last for a few minutes, or it might go away and come back. However, there are many other signs, especially for women. Heart attack symptoms in women are often much more subtle and easier to dismiss. These can include shortness of breath without chest pain or discomfort in one or both arms, the back, neck, jaw, or even the stomach. Many women also experience a cold sweat, nausea, or dizziness. So what does a heart attack feel like? Many survivors describe it not as a sharp stabbing pain, but more like, an elephant is sitting on my chest. Others say it felt like severe indigestion that wouldn't go away, or a dull ache in their jaw like a bad toothache. The most important advice here is this: never assume it's nothing. Never try to tough it out or diagnose yourself. If you or someone around you has any suspicious symptoms, especially if they appear suddenly or you have existing risk factors, call for emergency help immediately. It's much better to be mistaken than to ignore a sign that could save your life. And here's another dangerous myth, especially for younger people. Myth number 4. Heart disease is an old person's disease. Because events like strokes or heart attacks often happen to people in middle age or older. Many people in their 20s and 30s feel that this is a distant problem that doesn't concern them. But the truth is, this disease doesn't wait until you're old. So to start, the process of atherosclerosis, which is the buildup of plaque inside your arteries, can begin silently as early as our teenage years. It's like small spots of rust forming inside a water pipe. You won't notice any problems for years, even decades, until one day the pipe gets blocked. Statistics are showing a worrying trend. The rate of heart attacks in people under 50 is on the rise. The main cause comes from our modern lifestyle: chronic stress, a lack of physical activity, and eating too many processed foods, which leads to obesity and type 2 diabetes appearing earlier than ever before. What does this mean? Your cardiovascular health at age 50 or 60 is determined by the habits you build in your 20s and 30s. Early prevention is the smartest and most effective strategy to be able to prevent a heart attack in the future. So what's the advice for young people? Don't wait until you have symptoms to take action. Start getting regular health checkups. Now measure your blood pressure and get your cholesterol and blood sugar tested. Most importantly, think of building good habits like healthy eating and regular exercise as an investment in your own future, the most valuable investment you can make. And finally, let's clear up a confusion that can cause a lot of worry and fear. Myth number 5. A panic attack and a heart attack are the same thing. This is a very common myth because their symptoms can overlap in a frightening way. Chest pain, shortness of breath, a racing heart, and dizziness. Many people have gone to the emergency room thinking they were dying from a heart attack, only to be diagnosed as having a panic attack. So, how can you tell the difference? Although it can be very difficult, there are a few subtle distinctions. The pain from a heart attack is often described as a feeling of pressure, squeezing, or tightness in the chest. This pain tends to spread to other areas like the arm, shoulder, or jaw, and it's usually persistent and doesn't get better with rest. In contrast, the chest pain during a panic attack often feels sharp or stabbing and is usually located in one spot. More importantly, the symptoms of a panic attack usually peak within 10 minutes and then gradually fade. It's also often accompanied by an overwhelming sense of fear, a feeling of losing control, and possibly a tingling or numb sensation in the hands and feet. However, and this is the most important thing I want you to remember, never try to diagnose yourself. Even doctors need tests to be sure. The golden rule is this: when in doubt, always treat it as the most serious emergency. Call for emergency help immediately. It is much better to go to the hospital and be told it was just a panic attack than to stay at home and ignore a real heart attack. Your health and your life come first. So we've gone through the 5 most common myths about diet and heart disease, from the baseless fears about eggs and saturated fat to the dangerous misunderstandings about the symptoms and risk factors for a heart attack. The most important message we want to share today is this: accurate knowledge is the most powerful tool you have to protect your health. In this age of information overload, don't blindly believe in outdated advice or extreme diets. Learn to listen to your body. Seek information from reliable medical sources, and most importantly, have an open and honest conversation with your doctor. Do you know of any other myths about heart disease that we didn't cover? Please share your thoughts in the comments below so we can all learn from each other. If you found that this video helped clear something up for you, please send it to a friend or loved one. You never know, it might help them change a mistaken belief. And finally, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss other videos that debunk myths and provide useful health knowledge. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.